You are the most important relationship. Before you swipe, text, or worry about being too much, start with you. Grow Therapy helps you build self-worth, set boundaries, and show up as your full self. Whether it's your first time in therapy or your 50th, Grow makes it easier to find a therapist who fits you, not the other way around. They connect you with thousands of independent licensed therapists across the U.S., offering both virtual and in-person sessions, nights and weekends. You can search by what matters, like insurance, specialty, identity, or availability, and get started in as little as 2 days. And if something comes up, you can cancel up to 24 hours in advance at no cost. There are no subscriptions, no long-term commitments. You just pay per session. Grow helps you find therapy on your time. Whatever challenges you're facing, Grow Therapy is here to help. Grow accepts over 100 insurance plans, including Medicaid in some states. Sessions average about $21 with insurance, and some pay as little as $0 depending on their plan. Visit growtherapy.com/booknow to get started. That's growtherapy.com/booknow. growtherapy.com/booknow. Availability and coverage vary by state and insurance plan.
Hey there, I'm your host, Tisha Michelle, and welcome to #Certified, where you will leave enlightened, empowered, and inspired to live a life of authenticity. Let's go. Welcome back to #Certified. I'm your host, Tisha Michelle. Before we get into today's episode, I want to express my gratitude for all of you tuning in now and those that have listened to my other episodes, as well as those of you who took time to rate and or write a review. It's so much appreciated. If you haven't yet, I would super appreciate it if you would, after listening to this episode, hop on over and give us a rate and or write a review. It helps me to know how things are resonating with you, also what you all like to hear, and maybe some of your takeaways from that particular episode, as well as it does boost me up in the iTunes and allows other people to know that #Certified is here. So today's episode is all about manifesting. That word has been thrown around a lot lately, so I figured I would put my 2 cents and share 3 of my personal tips to manifesting. Definitely want to start off by saying I, Tisha Michelle, am a powerful manifester. My whole life, I'm telling you, as far back as I can remember, I said I did not want to be rich. I wanted to just be comfortable. And guess who hasn't been rich? Ding, ding, ding. You got it. This girl right here. So I didn't want to be rich because I thought being rich, rich people were like stuck up, they were selfish, and then they were like unhappy. I mean, all of that, man, was just a belief I had. It was something that I was taught, I was conditioned to believe, and I just straight up believed it. No questions asked, owned it. This is what it is about rich people. I want no parts of that, which is a very important part to manifesting, believing, right? So I would say over the past 19 months, that belief of mine has definitely changed. While I know that being rich doesn't buy happiness, I also know poverty doesn't buy you anything at all. So I know that being rich will allow me to help employ somebody where, per se, their passion is cooking. And that's not one of my strong areas as far as cooking, but there's people who are passionate about it and they love it, and that's part of their purposes in life. So being rich will allow me to have that personal chef, which is something that's been on my list. And shout out to my girl Tatiana too with her cooking. She's always hooking me up there. But it also, being rich will allow me to travel the world, having these heartfelt conversations, and serving humanity, but also helping, in certain places, maybe receive clean water, food. I want to definitely go over there and help people build up their mindsets, but also if I can help in the physical sense, I need money if I want to help with clean water or contribute to a school, things of that sort. I do need the funds for that. So putting this out there to the universe and to the #Certified tribe, I will experience being rich before I physically leave this earth. So I know many people think that, for example, they can just say when it comes to manifesting, I want to be rich, then boom, they're rich. From my personal experience, it doesn't work like that. So this is why I want to get started with my 3 steps to manifesting. Step number 1, define what it is that you want. And I mean, get very clear. Get down to the details of what it is that you want. You can write it down. You can make a vision board. You can speak it daily. You can do all of the above or one, whatever is comfortable and works for you. So towards the end of 2017 is when I first said that I wanted to sell my home care agency. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was overwhelmed. I was frustrated. I was ready to move on. I'm not even going to say I was ready to move on because it wasn't even clear of what I wanted to do. I just wanted to be done with the whole industry, done with the business. Let's just get rid of it, right? And then I would get a call from a potential client, and then I was set up to go on an intake and meet with that potential new family. So while I'm there, I'm just doing my thing. That's just me. I know my number one gift is my ability to connect to others. So when I'm sitting in that house and I'm talking with the mom, the dad, the daughter, the son, whoever is in there, like we're vibing, right? So everything is great. Then I would leave out feeling like so happy, and I'd be like, yes, this is it. This is why I do what I do. I absolutely love this, right? So that went on for a few months, and I really wasn't clear. It was like I had one foot in and I had one foot out. So I'd get frustrated by one end, then I'd go and I'd meet with these clients, right? And then I'd just be like, oh, this is what I love, and this is it. So just nothing but confusion being put out there. So the broker I was working with has sent out emails to a lot of potential buyers and was just getting nothing. I'm talking about like crickets. So then I was like, oh man, maybe that's a sign that I'm not to sell it, right? Just going through that whole confusion. So then in February of 2018, when I was talking to my guru, my teacher, Jessica, she was like, you got to make a decision. She was like, you got to get clear and you got to make a decision and you got to choose if you're going to sell that business. She's like, because you got one foot in and one foot out. And I was like, oh my God, you're so right. You're so right. She was like, you got to, when you get to that, she's like, you'll know when you get to that point and you need to actually choose it. So I did. I got clear and I made the decision to really sell the business. Honestly, I would say it was probably like 3 days after I had that conversation with her. It just hit me. And I went as far as going outside. Look, guys, I'm talking about I was outside. I was looking up to the sky. I had my hands up, just being real. People was looking for me like, what is she doing? And I just said, I choose to sell the business. And I don't remember exactly what else I said after that. I just went with what was on my heart. But I know for a fact I said, I choose to sell the business. The very next day, I kid you not, I got a call from my broker and he said, I had 8 people reach out to me today. I was like, wow. And he kept saying, I don't know what happened. They just all came out the blue. I don't know what happened. And I was like, I know what happened. I made a decision. So I'm laughing while he's like, oh my gosh. I mean, he's so very excited. And it was exciting, but I was excited for a different reason. I was like, oh, wow. I was the one that was really blocking the flow of this whole transaction because I wasn't clear. I was putting out confusion to the universe, so I was getting confusion back, which is why one minute I was ready to sell it, then the next minute I'm in there. So I was just getting what I was putting back out right there, right? So I want to say after 4 months later, one of those 8 companies purchased my business. And it was because I made a decision. I made the decision and I got clear. So step number 1 is get clear on what it is that you want and why is it that you want that. So once you get clear, put it out there to the universe. So then we're going to get into step number 2. Step number 2 of manifesting, well, my belief in manifesting, I want to say it's a twofold. So I'll say 2A is to expand your energy, aka raise your vibration, and 2B, feel what it is that you want. So you want to put yourself into this good mood, raising your vibration. Now, I can go deeper on raising your vibration on another episode, but now I'm just going to give you a quick rundown. We operate on a vibrational frequency, and we have to be the energy that we want to attract. For example, you want to be rich, but you have a scarcity mentality, you have a poverty mindset, and you're depressed. That's a low vibrational energy, and that's what you will attract, more low energy. So imagine, okay, so when we go back to that, so if you're coming from a state of scarcity and poverty and being depressed, but what you're putting out to the universe is that you want to be rich, and I'm just using that, on there. Rich could be in anything, financial, just happiness, just abundance, right? But you're coming from this low vibration. Well, abundance is a higher vibration. They don't match. It needs to match, right? So there's different ways that you can raise your vibration, get grounded. You can get outside into nature. It's the best way, in my opinion. You can walk, just get barefoot in the grass, hold some dirt, hug a tree. Yes, guys, seriously, hug a tree. Connect back to the earth. Go for a walk, drink water, dance. Oh my God, dance is just such an amazing way to raise your vibration. Just put on some music and just dance and allow your body to just move the way that it moves. Like, don't worry about, am I looking silly? Or, am I doing this correctly? Like, listen to the music, whatever it is you listen to, and just allow your body to just control and just move. So that's a great way to expand your energy, aka raise your vibration. So the second part to that, like I said, is feeling what it is that you want. So I want you to imagine what that thing is that you want. Visualize, detail it out. How does it feel? How does it feel having that thing? Are you smiling while you're thinking about it and visualizing it? Are you jumping for joy? Do you feel happy? Does it make you feel secure? Do you feel blissful? Whatever it is, feel it. Truly feel it and hold that space. Right? So when I made the decision to truly sell the business, the feeling I had was peace. So when I thought about selling it, there was a sense of peacefulness and calmness that came over me. And that's when I said, I was just thinking about selling it, and I'm like, wow. So some of those thoughts that were going through my mind at the time was, what would it feel like to just turn my phone off? What would that feel like? Because I wasn't able to experience that. I had to have my phone with me. Shoot, at one point it was 2 phones because I'd have the on-call phone. So I had to have that everywhere I went. If I went to the bathroom, I had to take it with me because you never know when a client's going to call or a care provider's going to call. So it was very stressful and chaotic. Even I loved what I did and what my mission was in there, but I'm not even going to lie. It was stressful. So when I was thinking about me selling it, it was those different things that was coming through my mind, was just oh, wow. So I was feeling, I had that just sense of that, just peace. And I was just calm. It came over me. So that was a part of me getting up and saying, oh, yes, this is what I want. And I also realized that was something that was missing in my life. And it was my soul was longing for freedom and peace. And that my soul is still asking for that now. So I do believe it's so important to be able to visualize yourself having that thing, because if you can't see it, if you yourself can't see you having it, how do you expect for it to manifest, right? And you know what I mean? So you want to see yourself having that thing and then being able to attach the feeling towards it. And when you can attach that feeling towards it, you're then sending that out to the universe. You're putting that out to the universe, and that's part of the manifestation. So you're step number 1, you're getting clear on what it is. 2, you're raising your vibration and you're feeling what it feels like to have that, so you can hold on to that feeling and put it out there. Just get it out to the ether, get it out into the universe, right? So then step number 3, release it. Release it to the universe, right? And I say release it to the universe and then take inspired action when needed. So you don't need to know how it's going to happen or try to, and I'm doing my famous air quotes over there, try to control it. Just know and believe it will happen. And when it's time for you to take inspired action, you'll just know. Whether, I don't know, it can come into a dream of yours like it did for me. So at one point I had a dream. Well, okay, let me go back really quick so I can make this make sense. There was 2 companies in my area, in my industry, that I told my brokers that I did not want to sell to. Non-negotiable, flat out. I'm not selling to them, and I had my own reasons why, right? So there was a dream that I had one night, and in that dream, one of those companies that I didn't want to sell to, my best friend, actually, I didn't see her, but I heard her, and it was some particular words that she said. And when I woke up from that dream, I kept saying the statement over and over and over, and I was like, what does that mean? What does that mean? And then boom, it hit me. It hit me, and I knew exactly what it meant. So at this point, it's 2:00 in the morning, and I'm going through my email, and I'm searching for this company's email address, the head people, right? And this is, again, one of the companies that I didn't want to sell to. It was on my non-negotiable list. But in my dream, I got this inspired action, which then led me to get the email address. And it's 2-something in the morning, I'm emailing my broker, and I'm like, hey, I know I said I didn't want to sell to this company, but I do now. So reach out to them. And that was the inspired action. I would have never thought about that. So they reached out to that company, and that company was interested in purchasing my business. Even though I didn't sell to them, what I did do was open myself up to more opportunities, right? So because I had the handcuffs or whatever you want to, so tight on the outcome of how I was going to sell it, who I was going to sell it to, I was really blocking the flow of the opportunities and letting the universe know that I was open to however it was going to play out, right? So we tend to try and control an outcome in which we end up allowing that to control us. So if you look at it like this, when you go out to eat, say you're ordering a steak and you're with your friends and you're like, I want a steak, I want it well done, because that's me, well done, with broccoli and a baked potato. And then you turn back and you finish having your conversation with whoever you were with. So then, okay, so your order is in. That's great. You just knew what you wanted. You stated it and you believed that you would have it, right? Cool. So now after you ordered, you wouldn't want to then get up and go to the kitchen and say, hey, where did that steak come from? Or what type of potatoes are you using? Matter of fact, how many seasoning are you going to use like in that? What type of plate are you going to put that on? So you get the point, right? You get the point. You don't do that. You don't go back there to the cooks and say, how are you doing this? Or how are you doing that? You just place the order, you state what it is that you want, and then you go back and you mind your business because you're not worried about that because you know that you're going to get it, right? So when you're manifesting, you don't want to stress out and try to figure out the how. Just know that it will happen or something better. So when I'm manifesting and I go through these steps and I'm putting it out there, these things that I want, I detach from the outcome. And I stop trying to figure out the how. Because I believe when you start to try to figure out the how is it going to happen, you start to put yourself into this box and you start limiting yourself. Like you really start limiting yourself and you're like, well, it can't possibly be this or well, what about this and what about that? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're letting the universe know that you don't trust the universe to have your back. The universe always has our back, right? So you don't want to do that. You want to just release it and just know that it's going to happen. And when the time comes, you'll get that inspired action, whether it's coming from a dream, whether it all of a sudden somebody says something and there's just an idea and then you're like, oh, wow, I could try that. Or wow, maybe I should do this or maybe I should do that. But it's different. It feels light and easy. It's not stressful. When you're getting this little nuggets or whatever you want to call it, basically like to do inspired action, it's easy. It's not stressful. You're not sitting here trying to figure something out. You're not like over and over like, how should I do this? Or what about this? Or what about this? It just comes to you. And you'll know, like I said, it's easy. So again, step number 1, define what it is that you want. Get very clear. 2, raise your vibration and truly feel what it's like to have that. And then 3, release it. So those are my 3 tips to manifesting your desires. And that's not something that is written in stone, like there's only 3 steps to manifesting. These are Tisha Michelle's 3 steps to manifesting, and this is what it is that I use to manifest things in my life. And I have to remind myself sometimes and all. So I would love to hear some of the things that you have manifested in your life. The good, the bad, the ugly, the indifference, whatever it is, because we all are powerful manifestors. It's just a matter of, are we manifesting the things that we truly want, or are we manifesting more and more of the things that we don't want by focusing on the things that we don't want versus switching? Another little bonus step I would say to manifesting, and this is just something is in general, always expressing gratitude, because there's always something to be thankful for. The more that you are thankful for what it is that you currently have, the more room you create to receive more. Personally, I have a gratitude journal. It's part of my rituals that I do every morning, but I also, in the evening, I add to that list and I start listing things that I'm thankful for. I have all my children. I do have to go behind them and stuff. I bought them all a notebook and I said, you need to write at least 2 things down that you are grateful for. I don't care what they are. It's just what you're grateful for from year-old on up. And some of you I may have even shared this on another podcast. I'm not even on another episode. I'm not sure. But my 14-year-old, she writes in it, and she came down to me one day. She was like, you want to know what I wrote? And I'm like, sure. And she was like, I wrote that I'm thankful for the relationship with my mom, aka me. Then she was like, I'm thankful for the relationship that I have with my siblings, because not everyone has it. And that was so powerful to me for her, because she was expressing things that she was grateful for. But the more you do it, you start going deeper and deeper, and then you start realizing things around. So when she's talking to her friends and different situations is going on, she's realizing like, wow, not everybody has the same type of relationship I have with you. Not everybody has the same type of relationships with their siblings. So with having her write down the things that she was grateful for, and you start doing this as a daily thing, you really, really start to appreciate more and more that you have in your life just by expressing the gratitude. And I used to post on Facebook, and I would say like, oh, what are you grateful for? Top 3 things. And people would be like, my family, my car, like my house. And I remember, I think this was like last year, I was like, no, we got to go a little deeper. Let's go deeper. And then those things to really make people really dig deep, so they can really see that there's so much more like on the surface to be grateful for. And there's nothing wrong to be grateful for your family and your car and your house. Of course, you're grateful for those things, but just to really start to appreciate little things. Like sometimes, like when I'm writing in my thing in the morning, I'll be like, I'm grateful for the conversation I had with such and such last night. You start looking at those things, you just go a little bit, just expressing that gratitude. So again, I would love to hear some of the things that you have manifested in your life, or maybe some steps that you use to your manifestation process. You can definitely follow me on Instagram at @itistisha, and you can DM me or tag me in a post. You can go to my website if that's easier, because if you go to my website, which is www.certified.com, hashtag is written out, and that way you can see other ways to connect with me, as well as when you go hop on over after this episode and you rate me and leave me a review, you can put it on there as well. So I definitely want to send love and light and prosperity to each and every one of you guys, and I want to say happy manifesting. Until next time, have a great one on purpose. Thanks for tuning in to #certified. If anything resonated with you, I would love to continue the conversation. You can follow me on Instagram at @itistisha, and if you want to be a part of the #certified tribe, you can join my Facebook group by going to the search tab and putting in #certified. My website is conversationswithtisha.com. As always, have a great one on purpose. Love you.